Welcome to GYANJYOTI online classes, class 10 English SR reader or supplementary reader. First number chapter, a trunk of surgery. The first number chapter exercise we are going to discuss, and we have the many questions, and according to the book's exercise we are going to discuss, and you have the additional book that is also extra questions you are given. That's also in the PDF file. The answer are giving and supplying, and you can follow that also. And whatever question you can answer, you can try yourself to answer it. And any doubt, you are ready to help you in any time, any doubt. You can call in our mobile number also. We will try our level best to solve the question and answer. So, as far as possible, we shall discuss a trunk of surgery. The first lesson I have taught in this class, then after the online classes, then also recording. 3 times I have taught this chapter, and I hope you the lesson, maybe the very tough words mentioned, and lesson is not so hard. And if you listen very well, you can answer very well. So, first number question here: why is Mrs. Pompey worried about Tricky? Yes, here Mrs. Pompey, Tricky is the dog, and why she was worried? What are the reasons she was worried? क्यों दुखित थी? Yes, let's discuss. Mrs. Pompey is worried about Tricky because he is unwell. Unwell means not good. बीमार थी. He has refused to eat food. Second point, कुछ खाना भी नहीं खाती थी. And had bouts of vomiting, also उल्टी भी हो रहा था. Yes, no, unwell, refused to eat food, and had bouts of vomiting. She feels that she is suffering from a serious health issue such as malnutrition. Malnutrition means the lack of food, the disease comes, that is called, and here the lady thinks so. So I hope you, so that's why Mrs. Pompey was worried about Tricky. It's clear to understand? Once again I say, Mrs. Pompey is worried about Tricky because she is unwell, he has refused to eat food and had bouts of vomiting. She feels that she is suffering from a serious health issue such as malnutrition. Question number 2. What? You can see the question, all this question from beginning of the pages, first number page of this trunk of surgery. Question number 2. What does she do to help him? Is she wise in this? Okay. What does she do to help him? Is she wise in this? ऐसे बीमार में उस महिला मिसेस पॉम्पे क्या की? Let's see. Mrs. Pompey starts giving him extra snacks like malt, cod liver oil, and Horlicks, apart from his main meals to improve his condition. Malnutrition सोच के और ही खाना खिलाई जो कि गलत था. She also continues to satisfy his sweet tooth with cream cakes and chocolates. She does not give him an exercise considering his listlessness, as well as she is not wise in doing so because overeating or overfeeding. Yes, so we can imagine that कितना खाना खिलाते जा रहे हैं. Then Tricky is worsening his conditions. Instead of improving it, it has made him very fat and lazy. Okay, so did you understand this chapter's answer? कि मिसेस पॉम्पे वो खाना नहीं देना चाहिए, लेकिन मालन्यूट्रिशन सोच के इतना खाना खिलाई कि वो 2 गुना सेहत खराब हो गया. That was a wrong type of decision. कभी भी कुछ होता है, खुद डॉक्टर नहीं बनना चाहिए, डॉक्टर की सलाह से ही काम करना चाहिए. यही मैटर है. Now, third number question we can discuss here. Who does I refer to in this story? I means the writer. जो राइटर I लिखते हैं तो राइटर अपने आप को लिख रहा है. And you have to know that refers to the narrator or writer, Mr. James Herriot, a veterinary doctor. Yeah, veterinary doctor is the I here. Yes, also he was a writer also. It's clear to understand. He was a good veterinary doctor, and we can open page number 3 to discuss other questions. It's okay. Question number 6, page number 3 and question number 1. Here, is the narrator as rich as Tricky's mistress? क्या नरेटर ट्रिकी के जो मालकिन जो मिसेस पॉम्पे जैसा अमीर थे? Answer will be no. The narrator is not as rich as Tricky's mistress, Mrs. Pompey. We can say so because the narrator seems fascinated by how lavishly Mrs. Pompey spends on the well-being and maintenance of her pet. देखिए यहाँ पर कुत्ते के लिए कितना खातिर है, तो we can say that Mrs. Pompey was rich. He is always very surprised by the enriching items she sends for Tricky. Tricky के लिए जो आइटम लाते थे उसको देख के भी Mr. Harriet was very much surprised as he cannot afford them for himself. जो Tricky के लिए हॉस्पिटल में भेजते थे वही खाना को भी उन लोग खा जाते थे. इससे भी ये साबित होता है, it is proof from there that Mrs. Pompey was more richer than the Dr. James Harriet. It's clear to understand? Next question. How does he treat the dog? Yeah, how does he treat the dog? मतलब James Harriet dog को कैसे ट्रीटमेंट कर रहे थे? Okay. So James Harriet treats Tricky just like he would treat an overweight and lazy dog. Which Tricky is, क्योंकि Tricky का पहला क्या था, बहुत खाता था, मोटा हो गया था, तो उसको खाना की कंट्रोल किया गया. Yeah, once again James Harriet treats Tricky just like he would treat an overweight and lazy dog. जैसे ज़्यादा मोटे हैं, ज़्यादा लेजी हैं, ज़्यादा मोटे हैं तो खाना कंट्रोल करना है. Which Tricky is, he cuts down his food intake and keeps him under strict observation for the initial days at hospital. Yes. What the point? He cuts down his food, खाना कम किए, takes intake and keeps him under strict observation. और ध्यान से देख लेना क्या कर रहा है. For the initial days at hospital, he gradually increases Tricky's food and sets him free for physical activities to improve his health. Physical activities to improve his health. Yes, खेलना कूदना. Yes. कि खाना के साथ साथ खेलना कूदना भी है. So in this way, general way, the Dr. Harriet treated this dog and dog was very well. Okay, can you understand? Question number 5. Then question number 6. Why is he tempted to keep Tricky on as a permanent guest? कभी कभी लोभ लालच इंसान को भी बिगाड़ देता है. मिस्टर हेरियस को मन चाहा कि डॉग को हमेशा के लिए रखें तो हमेशा उसके घर में खाना आते रहे, बट इम्पॉसिबल. यस, लेट्स सी. मिस्टर हेरियट इज टेम्प्टेड टू कीप ट्रिकी ऑन एज ए परमानेंट गेस्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑफ द गुड फूड एंड वाइन ही इज एंजॉयिंग. Tricky's man. He does not want to lose the luxurious inflow of fresh eggs, wine and brandy. These are the items he gets. Who gives? Mrs. Pompey for this good blood, good stimulation and good farm line or good health. She thinks that I will give what? More food and that things these Dr. Harriet and their friends enjoy a lot. Okay, so answer once again. Mrs. Harriet is tempted to keep Tricky on as a permanent guest because of the good food and wine he is enjoying in Tricky's name. He does not want to lose the luxurious inflow of fresh eggs, wines and brandy. Still understand? Next point. Why does Mrs. Pomfrey think the dog's recovery is a triumph of surgery? Yes, Mrs. Pomfrey क्या सोचते हैं कि डॉग्स का ठीक होना एक ठो सर्जरी का एक ठो बड़ा सा इलाज है. Let's see. Mrs. Pomfrey thinks that his recovery is a triumph of surgery because his illness was very serious. उसका एक बीमार बहुत था. She was of the opinion that there were very few chances of Tricky to improve. ठीक होना बहुत ही कम आशा था. Yes, and he needed immediate medical attention. Thus, his arrival without any medical treatment was a great achievement according to her. Yes, once again, Mrs. Pomfrey thinks that Tricky's recovery is a triumph of surgery because his illness was very serious. She was of the opinion that there were very few chances of Tricky to improve and he needed immediate medical attention. Thus, his revival without any medical treatment was a great achievement according to her. It's clear to understand this, the answer question of this book. Now, student, page number 6 you can open and we shall see or think about it from there. And page number 6 you can see and you can understand. Question: what kind of a person do you think the narrator, a veterinary surgeon, is? Or would you say he is tactful as well as a full of common sense? Okay, question कि मिस्टर नरेटर वेटरनरी डॉक्टर किस तरह का इंसान था? वो बहुत चालाक था कि साधारण कॉमन सेंस यूज किया? ओके, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. So let's discuss. Narrator, a veterinary surgeon, is a capable and wise doctor. Capable and wise doctor. He handles Tricky properly, which shows that he is sincere about his profession. Yes, sincere about his profession. He does not operate upon the dog unnecessarily and cures him by altering his diet and activity. He is a tactful person. He is tactful person. What a person is tactful? वो चालाक, दिमाग वाला person है. As he knew exactly how to convince Mrs. Pomfrey to hospitalize Tricky for surgery. His decisions to inform Mrs. Pomfrey to collect Tricky support his sensibility, even though he was tempted to keep Tricky as a permanent guest. Okay, so did you understand this question? Ki how he was tactful and common sense he used, and this lesson I hope you have understood. Question number 2. Do you think Tricky was happy to go home? What do you think will happen now? क्या तुम सोचते हो कि ट्रिकी घर जाने के लिए वो पसंद किया? कि how you know about this? Good question. So Tricky was happy to go back home as he really loved his mistress and the comfort of his lavish life. Yes, मतलब वो आराम का जिंदगी और खाने पीना इतना अच्छा चीज़ था, उसको तो चाहिए था, इसलिए ट्रिकी को अपने घर जाने का बहुत इच्छा था. That's a good point. He did not have any friends at home like in the hospital. ये हॉस्पिटल में ऐसे ही दोस्त नहीं थे जैसे कि अपने घर में थे. But he seems equally excited at the sight of Mrs. Pomfrey. I think that Mrs. Pomfrey will now be careful about Tricky's diet. Yes, कि अभी मैं गैस कर सकती हूँ कि ट्रिकी के डाइट के लिए मिसेस पोम्फ्रे ज़्यादा सोचेंगे. And she may also give him exercise daily as prescribed by the vet earlier. क्योंकि अभी उसकी मिस्ट्रेस को ज़्यादा केयर लेना पड़ेगा. Yes, this is the question number 2. Then question number 3. Do you think this is a real life episode or mere fiction? और इज इट ए मिक्सचर ऑफ बोथ? क्या ये सच्ची कहानी है या थोड़ा सा बनावट या मिक्स इमेजिनरी स्टोरी है, या दोनों मिल के है? यस, नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस। द स्टोरी सीम्स टू बी ए मिक्सचर ऑफ बोथ। स्टोरी में थोड़ा कुछ मिला जुला लग रहा है। इट मे बी पॉसिबल फॉर रिच पर्सन्स टू ओवरफीड देयर पेट्स ड्यू टू लव। जो अमीर हैं अपने कुत्ते को भी ज़्यादा खिलाते हैं, वो हो सकता है। इट इज़ नॉट अनयूजुअल फॉर देम टू मेंटेन ए वास्ट वार्डरोब फॉर देम। इधर बहुत पैसा है बोल के पूरा उनके लिए भी बहुत सारा कपड़ा रख सकते हैं, वेरी इज कॉमन। बट इट इज अनलाइकली फॉर ए वेटनरी डॉक्टर टू गो आउट ऑफ द वे एंड लाई इन ऑर्डर टू सेव एन एनिमल। यस, बट इट इज अनलाइकली फॉर ए वेटनरी डॉक्टर टू गो आउट ऑफ द वे। वो अपने रास्ते में जाके इसके इलाज के लिए बोलेगा, एंड लाई इन ऑर्डर टू सेव एन एनिमल। इट इज ऑल्सो अनयूजुअल फॉर एनीवन टू कंज्यूम फूड विच इज गिवन इन द नेम ऑफ ए पेट्स हेल्थ। पेट्स की हेल्थ के लिए अगर खाना दिया वो खा जाएंगे। इट इज नॉट यूजुअल, अनयूजुअल, दैट इज नॉट डिसेंसी ऑल्सो। So these are the points you can create in this chapter. The next page number 7. Page number 7. Think about it. This also. And here, this episode describes the silly behavior of a rich woman who is foolishly indulgent for her because she is lonely. Do you think such people are merely silly, or can their actions cause harm to others? Let's see. This episode describes the silly behavior of a rich woman. अमीर महिला जो कि अपने आप को मूर्खता की और सीधी सादी बिहेवियर दिखा रही है, जो कि मूर्खता है, पर बिकॉज सी इज लोनली, क्योंकि अकेली थी इसलिए। डू यू थिंक सच पीपुल आर मेरली सिली? क्या सच्ची में ऐसे सिली हैं? और कैन देयर एक्शंस कॉज हार्म टू अदर्स? और इनके जो कार्यकलाप दूसरों को नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन। आई टू थिंक एन आंसर। ओके, मिसेस पॉम्पेज एक्शंस हैड ए हार्मफुल रिएक्शंस ऑन ट्रिकीज हेड। मिसेस पॉम्पे की हरकत उसकी कुत्ते के लिए बहुत ही नुकसानदायक था। सी वॉज ओवर पैटर्निंग एंड ओवर फेडिंग, ज़्यादा खिला रही थी। ट्रिकी इन द नेम ऑफ लव, प्यार के लिए बहुत खिला देती थी। दिस वर्सन्ड हिज कंडीशंस टू एन एक्सटेंट दैट ही हैड टू बी हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड, जिसके बदले उसको हॉस्पिटल जाना पड़ा। पीपुल लाइक मिसेस पॉम्पे आर नॉट जस्ट मेयरली सिली, बट देयर एक्शंस कैन definitely have dangerous consequences for others. Question number 2. Do you think there are also parents like Mrs. Pomfrey? क्या मिसेस पॉम्पे जैसे और भी ऐसे पेरेंट हैं क्या? Yes, there are some parents like Mrs. Pomfrey who spoil their children by pompering them. They overfeed their children, ज़्यादा खिलाते हैं अपने बच्चों को। Pets, despite being aware of the harmful effects of their health, उनको बहुत ही लाल प्यार करते रहते हैं, जबकि ज़्यादा खाना पीना खाना सेहत के लिए खराब है, टोकते नहीं हैं कि सुधारते नहीं हैं। Parents like Mrs. Pomfrey should maintain a healthy lifestyles of their family and pets. Okay, so it's a great lesson for the student also to eat as far as you can, not overeat. Health is wealth. And if health is lost, then everything, you have lost many things. Okay, so you have to look after all your health. Question number 3. What would you have done if you were a member of the staff in Mrs. Pompey's household? First question. And I was, what would your life have been like in general? First point. If I were a member of the staff in her household, I would not follow Mrs. Pompey's commands to feed Tricky blindly. इसके मालिक अगर बोलते ज़्यादा खिलाओ तो मैं नहीं खिलाता। In fact, I would have fed him according to the vet's advice. डॉक्टर जो बोलते हैं ऐसे मैं खिलाता। Yes, I would have also skipped sending the unnecessary stuff like toys, cushions, etc. टू द हॉस्पिटल। मैं अगर उनके घर में आता तो ऐसा खिलौना ना हॉस्पिटल को नहीं भेजता बच्चे जैसा। माई लाइफ वुड हैव बीन ए वेरी बिजी वन, एज आई वुड हैव हैड टू टेक केयर ऑफ द हाउस होल्ड कोर्स and meet Tricky's demands on time. This is one our point. Second our point, if I were Mrs. Pompey's neighbor, I would have advised her to consult a vet and follow his advice strictly, keeping in mind Turkish deteriorating health. I would have also been supportive in their hard time when Tricky was hospitalized. My life as Mrs. Pompey's neighbor would have been full of surprises and gifts as Mrs. Pompey was a loving lady. So we would think this is a comment. I don't think what you maybe remarks, comment, you can give your last note point. What would you have done if you were in the narrator's place? So answer is narrator place. If I were in the narrator's place, I would have treated Tricky with a similar amount of compassion and love as narrator showed. I would have been equally caring Mr. James Elliot towards Tricky. I would have just been a little more stern while advising Mrs. Pompey to put Tricky on a strict diet, knowing her way of showing love. I would have also not consumed Tricky's share of eggs, wine and brandy sent by Mrs. Pompey. Yes, दूसरे का दिया चीज को मैं नहीं खा जाता. This is one of the good point. So this is the exercise I have done. So let's discuss one of the article. So let's start. Yes, student, let's see one of the article how to write it. Let's discuss. Messi poaching in the past 2 years. Poaching is attacking or hunting, and has wiped out the entire population of a tiger. So tiger की population घटते जा रहा है. Tiger reserve in India. Write in an article in 120 words supporting the cause of said tiger. Yes, after writing you have to sign as a yes or yes or your name, whatever the name given in the question. Okay? So whatever you write, you have to make the heading here. To make heading Indian tiger. Heading. Why? What matter? Massive poaching is wipe out means danger, critically endangered, critically endangered. मतलब बहुत खतरे में है. This is the heading. Suppose you are a girl, right? Yes, you are a boy, then right? Very yes. Girl then Jessica and boy then yes, you are right. Then that's it, right? These some points you have to write like poaching, illegal hunting, then tiger body part, medicine, aquatic place, aquatic wildlife, conservation, and how to save tigers. In this point, we will discuss. First of all, you are right in India. The tigers are on the verge of extinction. Tiger खतरे में है. Poaching has resulted in maximum reduction population tigers in our country. So Indian tigers. Count for over half of all the tigers living. They still they still have been declared critically endangered. International Union for Conservation of Nature. Okay. Next paragraph. This legal hunting, illegal hunting for trade has reduced the number of tigers rescued. Poaching for tiger. Tiger body parts. Is a major distance of Indian tigers. Tiger body parts like brain, whiskers used for Chinese medicines. Mental illness. Asthma. Dog bites. source, demand, decorate, and please see for output has also increased. Okay, there are two to write the last part. Last part I write the responsibility, and the responsibility for protection of the tiger lies government. Saving wildlife conservation project. Thus, stringent laws, stringent laws against poachers must be enforced. So, student, this is the article. You have to practice this type of all the articles and whatever the comes. You have to discuss all the points and you have to write. Hope you see you once again in the next period. So, have a good day and